Good day, dear students. Today's lecture's topic is independent and research work of postgraduate students. So I'm going to talk about independent work and research work of undergraduate and postgraduate students. The first issue which I would like to present today, independent work of undergraduate and postgraduate students. The student teaching is not the self-education of the individual at own discretion, but the systematic teaching control, independent activity of a student which becomes dominant, especially in the modern conditions of transition to multi-level training of higher education specialists. The purpose of higher education is not only the formation of professional competencies, but also the development of the creative personality of a specialist, bachelor, master, capable of self-development, self-education, innovative activities. The solution of university problems is hardly possible only by transferring knowledge in finished form from teacher to student. It's necessary to transfer student from a passive consumer of knowledge to an active creator of knowledge, who is able to formulate a problem, analyze ways to solve it, find the optimal outcome, and prove its correctness. In this regard, it should be recognized that the independent work of students is not just an important form of the learning process, but should become its basis. This presupposes an orientation towards active methods of mastering knowledge, the development of students' creative abilities, the transition from group to individualized learning, taking into account the needs and capabilities of the student's personality. What is the independent work of students? First of all, let us note that the concept of independent work of students is broader than extracurricular work. In the general case, independent work is an activity related to the upbringing of the thinking of a future professional. Any type of study that creates conditions for the emergence of independent thought, cognitive activity of the students is associated with independent work. Independent work is a planned work of students carried out according to the assignment and with the methodological guidance of the teacher, but without his or her direct participation. The aim of student-independent work is to teach a student to work meaningfully and independently, first with learning material, then with scientific information, to lay the foundation for self-organization and self-education in order to instill the ability to further continuously improve the qualifications and methods of independent work. The main objective is an university teacher in organizing student-independent work is to create psychological and didactic conditions for the development of intellectual initiative and thinking in classes of any form. There is enough time for independent work in the learning process. The question is how to use the most of this time. In general case, two main directions of building the learning process are possible based on the independent work of students. The first is an increase in the role of independent work in the classroom process. The implementation of this direction requires teachers to develop methods and forms of organizing classroom activities that can ensure a high level of student independence and improve the quality of training. Independent work is realized directly in the process of classroom studies, at lectures, practical classes, and seminars, while performing laboratory work. The second is to increase the activity of students in all areas of independent work outside the classroom. For example, in the library, at home, in the dormitory, at the department, when the student performs educational and creative tasks. In particular, one of the directions is lecture work, which requires students to maximize mobilization of attention, concentration, mental activity, and independent cognitive activity. The lecture is a preparation of a future highly qualified specialist to realize the need for self-education as the main factor in further successful professional growth. The lecture materializes in making notes, for example, in the kind of product of the subject's independent work. The high quality of this product is an indicator of the depth of understanding and assimilation of the student material. When conducting seminars and practical classes, students can perform independent work both individually and in small groups, creative teams, each of which develops its own project or task. Public discussion and defense of own version increase the role of independent work and strengthen the desire for its high-quality performance. In these slides, I would like to present some types of students' independent work. Depending on the type of independent work and the nature of its guidance by the teacher and the way of control over its outcomes, it's divided into the following types. The first one, independent work, during the main classroom activities, for example, lectures, seminars, laboratory work. The second type, independent work, under the guidance of a teacher in the form of a planned consultation, creative context, tests and exams. And the last one, extracurricular independent work, when the student completes homework assignments of an educational and creative nature. The second one, we can classify independent work dependent on the place of organization and conduct. And we can divide into three types. The first one, extracurricular independent work. The second one, classroom independent work, which is carried out under the direct supervision of the teacher. And the last one, creative, including research work. In general, the independent work of students under the guidance of a teacher is a pedagogical support for the development of target readiness for professional self-education and as a didactic means of the learning process. Talking about extracurricular independent work of students, we can distinguish various types of it. The first one, preparation and writing of abstract, reports, essays, and other written works on the given topics. It's desirable for the student to be given the right to choose a topic and even a work leader. The second one, doing homework of various nature. This is problem solving, translation and retelling of the text, selection and study of literary sources, development and drawing up of various schemes, performance of graphic works, calculation, and so on. The third one, fulfillment of individual assignments aimed at developing students' independence and initiative. An individual assignment can be received by both each student and a group of students. The fourth type is implementation of course projects, diploma work, dissertation. And the last one, preparation for participation in scientific and theoretical conference, reviews, Olympiads. In this slide, I'm going to talk about the main types of independent work in the Magistracy. They are the preparation of a thematic message performed according to the traditional structure. It's provided in written form and electronic presentation. Compilation of thematic biography on general textbook, books, special monographs, articles, additional foreign sources. Selection of diagnosing material for research. The description of the methodology should include the intended use and detailed description of the methodology, sample forms, the processing and interpretation procedure. Preparation of a report on diagnostic study carried out using at least 3 methods. Carrying out a research project on one of the problems discussed in the course. The project must implement a systematic, comprehensive, and other scientific approach to solving the problem. Development and presentation of one of the technologies of teaching and upbringing. Preparation of internet survey. Development of an electronic methodological resource on the topic of the course or on the project. The topic is usually agreed with the teacher. Materials should have a detailed scientific basis, include more innovative research. Review on the materials on the subject of the course on the problem agreed with the teacher, which is in the future may develop into a topic of scientific research of postgraduate student who wants to continue his or her education to get a PhD degree. Translation of articles from foreign sources on the topic of the project, master's research. Writing your own article or in the co-authorship with the other students or supervisor. Self-analysis of their own experience of teaching education research activities. In this slide, I'm going to focus on the second issue, research work of undergraduate and postgraduate students. At the present stage of development of higher education on the basis of competence-based approach, the research activity of students is gaining more and more importance and is turning into one of the main competencies of the professional trainer and the future specialist. This, first of all, is determined by the level of formation of research knowledge and skills, the accumulation of experience, of independent creative research activities, and naturally the development of personal qualities. In addition, mastering academic disciplines also requires students to master the methods of scientific knowledge and research skills. It's important to know that the research process is individual and its value of individual in both educational and personal sense. Students' research work is understood as hierarchically organizational system of work with students at the university through the participation in scientific process from the stage of acquiring skills and ability to the stage of research and obtaining scientific results. The main directions of research work are identification of the most active and gifted students who show interest and ability for creative activity, who in the near future will make up the scientific, pedagogical, and scientific technical elite of the education system, involving them in the research work under the guidance of professors and leading teachers. Organization of student participation in scientific conferences, seminars, exhibitions, international, regional, republic, and inter-university competitions. Conducting a system of competition in certain areas of students' scientific work. Present the winners of competitions to encourage and promoting their result. The main goals of the research work system at university are creation and development of conditions, providing an opportunity for each student to fulfill their right to creative personal development, participation in scientific research, and scientific technical creativity, full, equal, and accessible to everyone according to his or her abilities and needs. Ensuring the unity of educational, scientific, innovative processes with the formation and development of creative abilities, improving the professional and creative training of students, improving the forms of attracting young people to scientific research, scientific, technical, and inventive activity. The main objectives of the functioning of the research work system are assistance to the comprehensive development of the student's personality, the formation of his or her objective self-esteem, the acquisition of skills of work in creative teams, involvement in organizational and innovative activities, development of the ability to use scientific knowledge and quickly adapt when the situation changes, readiness for advanced training and retraining. Providing students with the opportunity to try at solving relevant problems in various areas of science and technology to publish significant research results, ensuring effective selection of capable, gifted, and talented youth to replenish the teaching and research staff of the university. Traditional forms of involving students in research work include participation in the annual scientific conference of students and postgraduates of the university, work in scientific circles, problem groups, laboratories, attracting students as a co-executor of a business-related topics and grants, participation in inter-university scientific conferences, participation in university, city, and regional exhibitions of scientific research works and scientific technical creativity, participation in completion of various levels of the best students' scientific work for the best innovative project for nominee scholarship, student reports, and publications. The forms and methods of attracting students to scientific creativity can be divided into three main areas of research activity: education and research work within the learning process, research work that complements the learning process, the research work parallel to learning process.